She's all right when you get to know her. This is my podcast, and it takes you from your restrictive, toxic, life-limiting 9 to 5 into a life on your terms, full of freedom and flexibility as a self-employed virtual assistant. So whether this is your first introduction into the possibility of becoming a VA, or perhaps you've been doing a bit of Googling already, I'm going to get rid of the overwhelm, rid of the self-doubt, and show you that this life is possible. I've not just started this rodeo, you know. I'm Catherine Gladwyn, and I've been doing what you think is impossible since 2015. Shall we get started? I can't believe I've not already done a podcast on this subject. It's one of the biggest questions that new and sometimes even established VAs ask. How do you get associate work as a virtual assistant? So in this episode, I am going to share all the tips that I've got to enable you to get work as an associate, if you so wish. But I'm also going to use the opportunity to answer the questions whether you should become an associate first, because a lot of you ask that. You know, you ask, should I do it to gain experience or confidence? And I'm going to answer all of that. And I'm also, I'm a bit scared about this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because, you know, comfort zone and all of that. I'm going to share with you the reasons why you may not be getting associate work, and also why you might not even be getting a reply to those that you, in inverted commas, apply for. So perhaps you're always being ghosted and you're frustrated with the lead VA, but there could be something that you're not doing. So I'm going to cover all of that. It's probably one of the only things that makes me want to give unsolicited feedback when I see it in our Facebook group or on LinkedIn, when I see people replying to posts where associate work's being offered. So I'm going to use this episode to give that feedback. Right, let's dive in then. So first of all, you might not know what an associate is. So when an established VA gets too busy, she can either stop taking on clients, or she can burn herself out, or she can have a waiting list until she's ready, or she can take on other VAs to do those clients' work for her on her behalf. The clients will know about it. And if you're working for another VA, you are an associate VA. And because the only way you've got those clients is through that lead VA's reputation, constant marketing, audience building, all of that, you get paid slightly less than the lead VA is getting from the client. That's just the way it is. The alternative is for you to get your own clients and do your own marketing and build your own reputation. The lead VA must make a profit on it because there's time spent with her marketing and sending invoices, schmoozing the client, converting the client. So I think on average you get paid about £20 an hour. But there are some very, very generous lead VAs that pay up to £25 an hour. Sometimes as well, I've seen them at £18 an hour. And I think that's probably the lowest I'd say is okay. So being an associate VA can sound like the dream because, marketing is scary if you've never done it before. You think everybody's going to pile on and say to you, what are you doing? It's not like that at all, but it is scary. And at the beginning, it's really can be quite slow building an audience, and you don't get any engagement on your posts. So you think to yourself, no one's seeing them, but they are seeing them. And so you think, oh, it's all right, then I will do some associate work instead. But it's not the easy answer because, well, firstly, a lot of lead VAs won't take on an associate who hasn't had clients herself, who is still employed, because often if they are not committed to their VA business, they go AWOL, they disappear completely. There's been some really difficult situations where somebody has come in all gusto and they're going to be an associate and they're going to be a VA and they're going to make this work and they won't let you down, but they only managed to get one associate role. It's at £20 an hour. It's 2 hours a month. And they still can't get over that marketing hurdle and audience building. And then they go back to employment, and that's fine. You go and do that. But it's not good for the lead VA or her clients because they want consistency. And it can affect the lead VA's hard built over many years reputation. So that's your first stumbling block. Is if you're looking for associate work as a way of getting started as a virtual assistant, it's highly unlikely you'll get many, if any, opportunities to do that until you've actually proved that you're in this for the long haul. Another question is, should I be an associate to gain experience? Experience of what is my question back to you, because you should only ever be offering services that you're confident and competent with. You shouldn't be looking to learn on the job or anything like that, because you'll just be wasting the client's time, the client's money, and again, you'll be mucking about with the lead VA's reputation. So there is no experience that you will gain. And also, the lead VA isn't going to micromanage you. She's not going to direct you, because that will take away from her commission. So she's got her own clients as well, probably. So she hasn't got time to be training or micromanaging or anything like that. And also, you won't gain experience of running a business. That lead VA hasn't got time to be doing that. She is a VA, not a VA trainer. So you're not going to be gaining experience in how to run a business. With regards to confidence of dealing with clients, well, that's going to come anyway. It's you either gain that confidence of communicating with clients as an associate or as a VA in your own right. But again, you've got to think about the lead VA. Does she want to put you in front of somebody that you're not very good at communicating with? You need to believe in yourself. You can do this, for Christ's sake. You don't need to use somebody else to gain that confidence. You've already stepped this far into the VA world. That shows an enormous amount of confidence. And also, if you are an associate, you still have to set up as a business. So you still have to have your insurance. Well, you don't have to have insurance. Again, that's not a legal requirement, but you're a dickhead if you don't have it. You've still got to legally register with the Information Commissioner's Office for GDPR. You've got to do your own bookkeeping. You're still going to be a sole trader, self-employed. So it's exactly the same as being a VA in your own right. You just get paid less and you don't have to do any marketing and audience building. However, you're totally reliant on that lead VA giving you the clients. So, it's no different. But I tell you as well, with associate work, I know I'm saying this is all negative. No, this is coming across as negative. I'm not being negative. It's just I'm giving you the reality, because there are a lot of positives with being an associate, which I will cover in a minute. But also, when you're an associate, you don't get to pick your clients. If a lead VA promotes, and they are, I think we average about 20 a week opportunities for associate work in my free Facebook group. And if the lead VA has got a client, she wants an associate to work with that client on her behalf, then if you're picked, if you like, if you're successful in becoming an associate, you don't get to set any boundaries with that client. The lead VA sets boundaries. I mean, she might be more than happy for her clients to communicate via WhatsApp. And that might be one of your boundaries, that you don't want to give your phone number out. But you don't get to set those boundaries when you're an associate. Like I said, the lead VA does. So you also can't pick and choose your clients either. So if you were to go with an agency, thinking of an agency, Time.etc., which is run by Barnaby, lovely guy, and they pay about £12, £13 an hour now, and it's so low because you're guaranteed a stream of clients because of all the money they spend on marketing and SEO and things like that. But you can't decline clients. I mean, if a client was a complete pest, then you could talk about it. But if you keep declining clients, they're going to think, do you know what, I'm not going to offer her any more work, because it's just time and stress. And well, that's all the negatives out the way. God, Jesus. But yet there are so many positives as well with being an associate. You start to create relationships with established VAs, and those established VAs have got audiences, and they'll often shout you out, or they'll give you a testimonial after a length of time, and it really is a stepping stone for you to get in front of more people that you may not have reached before. And in a way, it is experience, because even though you will only be offering services that you are confident and competent at, sometimes clients come to you and say, I don't know, I'm just going to throw something out there. Do you know how to upload videos to YouTube? And you could be like, well, I don't, but I'm more than happy to learn in my own time. And then you'd go away and learn in your own time, and then you'd come back and do it for the client, get paid for it, and then you can offer it to future clients. So it's good in that way, because it is really common for a client to just check in and say, can you do this? And then that's your opportunity to extend your skills by learning. I've thought of another negative. Can I say it? Because you get paid less as an associate, it can take you longer to leave your 9 till 5. So, if you were, I'm going to get my calculator out. Hold on. Wait a minute. So say you've got to earn, I'm just going to throw a figure out there, £300 a week. Okay. So if you're charging £30 an hour, you'd only have to work 10 hours a week. However, if you were getting £20 an hour as an associate, you'd have to work 5 extra hours a week. No one wants that. We're coming into this to work less hours for more. So, yeah, if you just take on associate work, you will be working more hours to earn the same as you would if they were your own clients. So, yeah. Now, being an associate, the other positive is that if you've got your own clients, but you want, you're struggling to fill maybe a couple of hours, and you see an associate role come up for 2 hours, then it could be a marvelous opportunity, because again, you start a relationship with that lead VA, and you can see how she works and maybe take some tips from the way that she gets clients, and it might give you more marketing ideas as well. Lead VAs are established, and they are getting more clients than they can deal with because they're good, and because their marketing has been good and their reputation is good. So it is always, I'm going to say good again, it is always good to have a lead VA in your pocket and do some stellar associate work for. Now, there are so many ways that you can get associate work. If you've got the VA Starter Guide, you already know that I've got advice in there on how to get associate work. There's even some templates that you can send out to established VAs to see if they've got any opportunities to work with them, or to keep your notes in their mind, or your name, in their mind, and to get in touch with you if they do have an influx of clients they can't deal with. But there's also some other ways of doing it, and there are also ways of not doing it. Now, as I said, in my free Facebook group, we average about 20 opportunities a week, which is absolutely incredible. When I was starting as a VA, I don't even remember seeing associate opportunities. I'm sure they must have been there, but I don't remember them. So I think that this is fantastic. And when they come up, the lead VA, because she's established, she knows exactly what she needs. She's spoken to the client. She knows what the client needs. She knows who works best with her business. So she may often, list things relevant to that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go into the Facebook group and read out an old, they're called job opportunities. So let me find one, and I'm going to tell you, okay, let me find an old one so that you buggers can't find it. Here we go. This is a good one. Okay. Associate job op. MailChimp expert VA needed. One of my clients is looking for a MailChimp expert to take her newsletter to the next level. A lawyer by day and a film, restaurant and bar reviewer on the side, running a newsletter alongside her blog. She needs someone who really knows their stuff when it comes to MailChimp. and the role. It says about the role, says about the hours, when to start. And the ideal candidate would be experienced in MailChimp and email marketing best practices, confident in designing branded high-quality email templates, analytical, proactive and organized. Essential requirements: minimum of 6 months experience managing multiple clients as a VA, UK residency and fluent English. Now that can seem like you are alienating people, but they often ask for you to be resident in the UK because of insurance. It's not discrimination or anything like that. It's because of insurance and contracts. We have to pay more for insurance and more for contracts. Someone's at the front door. Did you hear that bloody doorbell goes? Leave it on the doorstep. Fluent English. Again, this is not discrimination, but this lady, she's already said this client is a lawyer and a film, restaurant and bar reviewer. Now, I know who the potential client is, and, you know, it's going to be imperative that that newsletter is written in good English, proper English. I can't go for the job, can I? But yeah, it's going to be so important. Now, there is also at the bottom, if you're interested, please email me at blah, blah, blah with the subject line MailChimp Expert VA. And if possible, include examples and newsletters you've designed. I rarely check Facebook, so I'm unlikely to see DMs. Please email me directly if you're interested. Okay. Somebody's commented, I do MailChimp newsletters. And what kind of reply would that person be expecting? The person that's put, I do MailChimp newsletters. Now, the person that posted the job op said she rarely checks Facebook, so no DMs. Okay, that person hasn't sent a DM as far as I know, and that she wants emails. So she's potentially not going to see that comment because she's already said she doesn't check Facebook often. So what was that person hoping for in that comment? And even if it was the only person to reply to that opportunity, I know full well that that lead VA won't get in touch. She hasn't got time. You're wasting her time. You need to make, and this is really key, you need to make it easy for people. They are busy. Everybody's busy. So another comment on there was, I am a tech VA with 12 years experience and I am using MailChimp to help my clients. I am really interested. Here is my portfolio and here is a booking link for a discovery call. No. Again, you're giving the lead VA stuff to do. She asked for an email. Why does she want to book a call with you? So I replied, she's asked for emails. Please read the whole post or you'll wonder why you've not had a reply. And the person responded, I am doing email marketing as well. I have read a post. And I put, no, she asked for people to email her and not post on here, as she doesn't access Facebook often. And you're not based in the UK, according to LinkedIn, which is part of the criteria too. So not only did she not read that she had to email and take into account that the lead VA doesn't access Facebook very often, and she's not based in the UK, which was essential as well. She's gonna be ghosted because she has wasted an enormous amount of the lead VA's time. And you can't turn around and go, oh God, sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet, because that looks terrible as well. But it's things like that. You must slow down. It's not the quickest person to respond. It's the one that's read it properly. You could respond 24 hours after it's posted and be the 51st person to respond. And you might be the only one that's followed everything. Another reason people get ghosted is we put out what we want. So experienced in MailChimp in this instance and confident in designing. Now, I can guarantee that the person that posted this would have had at least one email that says, I'd like to be considered for the MailChimp opportunity. and give no further information. So they haven't said, I've been working with MailChimp for 3 years. I've designed 4 different newsletters for a variety of businesses, blah, 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 blah. And I've got 6 months experience exactly of managing multiple clients. Answer the questions, answer the requirements of the particular opportunity. We get a lot of, in inverted commas, applications. I hate the word applications because it makes it sound like a job, like an employed role, and it's not. I need a better word and I can't think of one. But yeah, you need to answer those questions. You need to give everything the VA needs in your email. Or if she's asked for a DM, put it in a DM. Also, things to avoid. I've had emails as well that are like, I'd like to go for the MailChimp role. Here's a link to my website. I don't want to. Why do I want to see your website? I didn't ask to see your website. I'm not going through reams and reams of text and what have you. I just wanted to know, are you experienced in MailChimp? Are you confident in designing brands? Are you in the UK? Are you fluent with English? There's nothing more frustrating than starting a conversation with somebody and finding out that they don't match the criteria. And also another thing to avoid is to get in touch and go, do you know what? I saw your request for MailChimp. Now, I've done everything, but I haven't used MailChimp. I've just used MailerLite, and I'm sure it's similar, and I'm a very fast learner. Well, it's not similar, and that's not what we asked for. And we haven't got time for you to be learning. We want you to step in. In fact, we asked for you to be experienced in MailChimp. Now, the other day as well, there was one as well. I'd never name names. So if this resonates, if you think, oh God, that was me that put that, it's not to pick up. And I'm really, really grateful that you did do this, because it allows me to help you and others get those associate roles and not be ghosted. So one I saw the other day was somebody offered an actual client that you could work with directly, so full £30 an hour. And there was an email address to email the potential client with everything they needed to know in order for them to make a decision as to whether they wanted to go forward. And one person commented and said, I found the client on LinkedIn and I've sent her a DM. She didn't ask for a DM. She wanted emails because maybe somebody else checks her DMs. Maybe her existing VA checks her DMs, and that's going to be awkward. But she may have asked for emails so that she's got everything in one place, and it makes it easier for her. And if you can't follow the rules in the initial job opportunity, they'll think, I'm not sure that you'll be able to follow instructions when I give you tasks to do. So I promised you that I would tell you the way to make sure you get associate roles. And basically all it is to not do the things that I just said about. But yeah, if you see a job opportunity, whether it's for a client directly or as an associate, sit down and read it and note every part of that job opportunity. So everything that they want you to do, and then address those things in your email or DM or however they've asked you to reply. Even if they've said to you, make a comment with your email address, put in that comment, I've read this whole post and I tick everything that's required. Just so they know. Just saying that just relaxes my shoulders, and it's like, oh my God, thank God for that. You don't want to overwhelm the client. You don't want to give information that they don't need. You just address the things that they've asked for so that they don't have to go back with the questions. If they're asking for you to be experienced in homing pigeons, then you need to say, I've got experience with homing pigeons. A pigeon just flew by. That's why that analogy came up. You have to make it easy for people. If you're constantly getting ghosted by a variety of clients and lead VAs, then there is a huge possibility that you're creating work for them, that you're making it difficult for them. Now, some people are complete arses and they don't reply. Other people are too busy to reply, and they think they have and they haven't. It's not always that people are nasty, but if you're making things difficult for a lead VA or a client when you've got this opportunity in front of you, then it is incredibly frustrating. I gave you an example earlier, like somebody, I'm interested in this associate opportunity. Great. Can you do this, that, and the other? And they replied, yes. And that doesn't fill me with much confidence. Could you elaborate? I didn't reply, so it's to get those roles, you need to slow down and follow exactly what it says, copy and paste it into a Google Doc, print it out, type out your email or however they want to be contacted, read it through again, and then press send. It is not the quickest to respond. It's not fastest fingers first. This isn't tipping point. It's about getting it right and showing that you're capable and that you're competent and that you can read stuff. I do hope that helps. I hope it's not been too negative. Let's think of something positive. Dairy Milk have now got Biscoff bars. Dairy Milk and Biscoff. Can't find one, but gonna find one. That's a positive. And the postman left my parcel on the doorstep, so he's a very good boy. Thanks for listening. If you're ready to reclaim your independence, then subscribe to this podcast because there is so much I'm going to give you. You've got to subscribe on your favourite channel, it says. What channel? I ain't going to be on the BBC, am I?